The series against the Cardinals, well, it was an eye-opener. You DFA Lucas Sims after Friday's performance. You think that fixes everything, but it doesn't. And let's be honest, the Nationals, they're going to have to face some music because this team, it's a mess.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals for all your latest Nationals news and notes. Check us out over on Twitter. And of course, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcast, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, and of course, the video version over on YouTube. Again, look up Locked On Nationals. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And later on in the program today, we'll preview the Nats Braves series. And in the second segment, it's a Nats stock report Monday, who has been up and who has been down. But we start off discussing a pretty bad weekend for the Washington Nationals. If it's not the bullpen, then it's going to be the offense. The bullpen wasn't too great, but still, that was not the story. It was a lack of offense, and I'm tired of it. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money, and take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. The Washington Nationals have got issues. When I was watching this series over the weekend, I noticed many different things. Number one, the talent that we have, we should be better than what we are. The talent that we have on this field is not that bad. If you look down the lineup, you see James Wood with a 900 OPS, hitting home run after home run, 10-plus home runs on the season. CJ Abrams, he has been on fire as of recently. Nearly batting, just being one of the better offensive shortstops in all of baseball, something that not many people expected him to be. Nathaniel Lowe, a pleasant surprise, having a nice bounce-back season, hitting an opposite field home run in yesterday's ball game, doing what we expect him to do. Keibert Ruiz, behind the dish, having an incredible offensive season so far this year, really bouncing back after struggling a ton all of 2024. Dylan Cruz has had his ups and downs. Alex Call kind of coming off the bench and killing the baseball, batting north of 300, getting on base at an elite clip, and doing everything that you would want a fourth outfielder to do. But where the Nationals are now, it's inexcusable. The problems of what the Nats have, which is a bad bullpen and a lack of offense, or at least offensive awareness. In crucial situations, you see this team fall short each and every single time. And why? We scored 3 runs against St. Louis Cardinals. 3. And this team, the Cardinals, they're hot. They have won 8 straight games. They swept the Washington Nationals, and the Nationals have now lost 5 straight games. You have now entered the conversation of taking a step back in a year that we all expected this team to be above 500. Or not expected, but we thought that they could potentially get there. If Dylan Cruz was right, if Luis Garcia, the success that he had in 2024 was what he was. If the bullpen was better. If the starting rotation was better, which it is better, by the way. These things have not happened. In the offseason moves, the key acquisitions, Nathaniel Lowe was one of them. He has been good. Let's set him to the side real quick. This revamped bullpen now. After Friday's loss, losing 10-0 against the St. Louis Cardinals, Lucas Sims comes in, walks the bases loaded, doesn't cover home plate. Immediately after the game, immediately, 15 minutes after the game, he has been DFA'd. Colin Poche and Lucas Sims were your two huge bullpen acquisitions this offseason, none of whom were on the roster on May 12th. Those two guys right there were two of the guys that you were like, guys, these guys are going to be pretty good in this bullpen. They're going to come in and they're going to be really good relievers for this team. Not on the team anymore. Josh Bell. He's going to come in. He's going to be your designated hitter. He's going to come in. He's going to hit for power. And he's going to do what we all think he's going to do. Hit home runs from both sides of the plate, not play defense, and hopefully add some slug to this team. He has been an anchor that has just been holding this Nationals team down. And right now, for your designated hitter, the one thing that he has to do is to be a good overall hitter. He is statistically the worst hitter in all of baseball at this point. And worst of all, you continue to bat him fifth in the lineup for a team that has scored 3 runs in the past 3 games, being shut out in Friday's game against, by the way, Eric frickin' Fetty. He's fine, but come on. We have all seen Eric Fetty here before. He's not a world beater. He has made his improvements, but he's not that good. He's fine. He's a 4th starter at best on a good team. That's what he is. Maybe that. When will there be accountability? Because one thing that I like to hold up here is that I try to hold people accountable. I try to hold the players accountable, like Lucas Sims, what he did in Friday's game. Walking the yard is one thing. Not covering home, that was inexcusable in my opinion. Your head is not in the game, and the Nationals, they made the right decision. They held him accountable, and they moved off him after that game. Davey Martinez, though, continuing to trot out Josh Bell batting 5th or 6th, wherever you want to put him, and the fact that this guy is not batting 9th or hell is even in the lineup is inexcusable at this point. I understand why you try to get a veteran bat going. But when you have someone in your lineup that is batting 134 on the season, which is worst in all of baseball amongst qualified hitters, the 2nd lowest on-base percentage in all of baseball amongst qualified hitters, and the 9th worst slug in baseball, and the 5th worst OPS in the game. You continue to have him in the middle of this lineup. Talk about a rally killer. Talk about any momentum killer out there. That's the one thing that is inexcusable with this team right now. It's time to start holding accountability. And in my opinion, I'm done with holding the bullpen accountable. Listen, this is a bad bullpen. This is a young, immature bullpen that's going to need some innings under their belt before they can hopefully make some improvements. I think we all know that at this point. But Davey Martinez, he knew that. Davey Martinez, he looks at the numbers every single day. You know what Josh Bell is hitting. And that is the one constant from what it seems like in this lineup, is that you have Josh Bell hitting 5th. The accountability starts now, and it starts at the top with Davey Martinez. I think Davey is a fine manager. I do. I don't think he's the villain that people have made him out to be. He's a good manager. If you give him the tools to succeed, he'll be good. He'll be just fine. You saw him in 2019. That was the one year you kind of really gave him a competitive team, and he won a World Series. And I know that was a long time ago. And yes, Davey should be better. And these are reasons as to why. At this point, where's your hope for the Nationals? When do you think things will change? Because after a weekend like this, when you lose 5 straight games, get swept by a Cardinals team that has been red hot, by the way, but they're not that good. They're not the best team in the National League. They're probably not even the best team in their division. The Chicago Cubs are in it. This is just bad. This is a bad run baseball team at this point. And I look at Josh Bell in the center of this lineup, And that is the one thing is I come back to this. When will we hold Davey Martinez accountable for that? Having the worst hitter in all of baseball at this point, in the middle of your lineup, right behind Nathaniel Lowe, right behind James Wood and C.J. Abrams, hitting ahead at times of like Alex Call or even Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz at points this year was up in the lineup, and now he's back down to 8th and 9th. That should be Josh Bell. And to be honest, it really shouldn't even be Josh Bell because he should not be in this lineup. The way that this lineup should be constructed is a way without Josh Bell. I'll tell you that much right now. And one thing that I looked at, I don't even want to harp on Josh Bell. Josh Bell has been great for the Nationals in the past. He is a MLB vet. He has been there. He has done that. He'll be the first one to say that he has been struggling. But the last swing of yesterday's game, I look at and I'm like, that's Josh Bell's season so far. It was like a half swung, way behind a fastball in the inner half to lose the game yesterday. It was a brutal swing. I thought it kind of put his season together as a whole. He has not shown up so far. He has not been able to put the ball in play. He has not been able to hit for power. And these are things that Josh Bell knows that he has to do. And the fact that he is still in this lineup nearly every single night and not having Alex Call be your DH and Jacob Young could even DH at this point over Josh Bell. And that would be pretty reasonable. Things are going to have to change. I'm not calling for jobs. I think Davey Martinez is probably doing the best job that he can do. But the ground ball rate being dead last in all of baseball yet again, at points, I have to look for change and accountability. And we have not gotten that. You finally held Lucas Sims accountable after Friday's loss. That was something that was big. But with where the Nationals are now, what are we doing? It's just been a bad product as of recent, and you should be frustrated with the way that this team has been handled so far this season. It's been bad. The bullpen has been bad, but again, when the bullpen is finally actually doing something decent, then that's when the offense scores 3 runs over 3 games. Gets shut out against Eric Fetty, a 9-inning complete game. It was a joke. It was. I don't care what anyone says. That was bad. This is a bad series. You lost to a not-so-great team, and there needs to be accountability. Simple. Plain and simple right then and there. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And after the weekend, we always get you a Nats stock report, who has been up and who has been down. We'll tell you about that after we tell you about our friends at Monarch Money. Of course, you ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go between dining out and online shopping and entertainment? It's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. For instance, I was looking as of recent, in the last week, I spent $150 on food delivery. Monarch Money, typically, I just kind of don't think about that. But Monarch Money, with that financial command center, I got to see that, oh my gosh, I had $150 on Uber Eats and on this takeout delivery. And I'm like, I got to stop this. And Monarch Money has actually helped me start building more wealth by managing my money. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on entertainment also and clothes. And it gives me an idea to track my money spending and even plan some long-term goals. So when you go to Monarch Money, take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Let's get to a Nat stock report. Who has been up and who has been down? We start off the stock up for star shortstop, superstar shortstop, I must say, C.J. Abrams. If you look at his season statistics overall, CJ has been one of, if not the best offensive shortstop in baseball. That's how good CJ Abrams has been this season. And over his last 7 games, he's got 11 hits. He has 23 hits in total over his last 15. In that time, he's only got 10 strikeouts in his last 15. And expected slugging on the year is up in the 86th percentile. 2 years ago, if someone were to ask me, what is CJ Abrams going to be as a hitter? I'm like, well, he'll probably be like a 730 OPS, and he might bat around 280. CJ Abrams has proven that he can hit for power. CJ Abrams has proven that he can make great plays defensively at shortstop, which we saw a couple times this past weekend against the Cardinals. And now he can hit for power. And he is a legit power threat. And we all know what he can do on the bases. Even though his stolen base numbers are down overall, the offensive weapon that CJ Abrams has become is out of this world. Batting .315 on the year with an .897 OPS. Let's say that CJ was on the Dodgers or a team that was really, really good right now, like the Cubs or the Padres, his old team. He would be an MVP conversation at this point. And yes, he didn't miss that time earlier on this year with the hip injury, but nothing has been lost. The power is still there. His defensive ability, it's still there. Getting on base, he is getting on base at an elite rate at this point, and he is hitting for power. And again, these are things that not many people expected to see from the franchise shortstop. So CJ Abrams, stock up. He is going to be an all-star again, and if he's not, the system is flawed. Simple as that. Stock down. His partner, middle infield partner, Luis Garcia Jr. Over his last 7 games, he's only got 3 hits. He's batting .217 on the season. And the big concern for Garcia Jr. was that last year may have been fool's gold. I'm not saying that it is. What I am saying are the struggles are real. He is still chasing at a pretty high rate. He is not hitting early on in fastball counts. I see it in different times with young hitters. We've seen this before with Garcia also. He gets up 2-0 early in a count. You kind of know what's coming. You got to get ahead of it. You have a runner on second, and Luis Garcia Jr. takes a fastball. Inexcusable. Luis Garcia Jr. is a good hitter. He puts the ball in play. He doesn't strike out. But the issues with him that even popped up last year, after having a really good year at second base, are happening yet again. And this time around, he's just not getting that lucky. Luis Garcia puts the bat on the ball at a really elite rate, does not strike out, which is some value for the Nats. He's good defensively finally over at second, but something that we never really worried about was his bat, and now that's what we are worrying about. The first month and a half of the season, batting .217 for someone who puts the ball in play at a very elite clip is mildly concerning for me. And he's 24 years old, but still, Garcia, this is not his first time around. He has technically been in the bigs for 6 different seasons. This guy has been here before. He has done this. But as of right now in the year, having a OBP that is right now your career low since 2021 when he had a .275 OBP, and with where the Nationals are overall in this year, batting .217, which is a career low, having a slug, which has never been as low. He is having career low numbers at this point in time, a 600 OPS on the year. Garcia is better than that. We just simply have not seen it thus far. Stock up for Cole Henry. This is one of the frustrating parts for me. This is it. When you have a bullpen that is as bad as the Nationals have been, statistically one of the worst bullpens of all time so far. Okay, you have Colin Poche, you finally DFA'd him. You finally DFA'd Lucas Sims. Those were the 2 big problems in this bullpen. You got another guy, Jose Frere, a young guy. We all think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be an all-star someday. I truly think he is that good. But Cole Henry has come out of nowhere. And you have finally started to put him in big situations. And what has he done? Well, he has an 11 1/3 scoreless innings outside of one game where he gave up 5 earned runs against the New York Mets. And Cole Henry has finally put himself in a situation where we can say, I can trust this guy. He is a young arm out of LSU, a second-round pick back in 2020 in the same draft as Cade Cavalli, right after the Nats won the World Series. Cole Henry comes into this team, and finally, you have a bullpen arm that is young, that you can trust, and 2, shows a lot of promise. I like this Cole Henry kid. And I think finally, with the moves of Lucas Sims kind of getting out of the way, you're opening up opportunities for Cole Henry. You're opening up an opportunity for maybe Jose Ferrer to bounce back, which at times he has. He's looked good this year at times, but still, we all know he gets lumped for 3 earned runs. And you'll probably see that at points of this Atlanta Braves series. But Cole Henry has looked really good. And the results have shown that this guy we can actually trust out of the bullpen. And as you know, the bullpen has not been trustworthy so far. So stock up for Cole Henry. He has looked good. Stock down for Trevor Williams. So far in the season, his ERA is at a 5.88, and he has given up 4+ earned runs in his last 3 starts. And as we saw over the weekend, Trevor Williams last year was kind of an anomaly. The numbers, like the baseball savant, nothing was really that different from Trevor Williams last year. There was a lot of luck involved. There was really good defense behind Trevor Williams last year, and that's what kind of led to his low ERA. But still, what is the value of someone who goes 5 innings pitched, and that's really it? He never really has his pitch count rise up above 100. He doesn't go deep into ball games. You're going to have a pretty long bullpen situation here when that is an issue every 5 days when you have a bad bullpen the way that the Nationals do. Now, luckily for us, the starting rotation actually has been pretty good. As we saw yesterday with Mackenzie Gore, he looked good in his start yesterday. You had that 1 run scored later on in the game after you got him pulled, but still, Mackenzie Gore has looked good. Jake Irvin has overall looked pretty good. But Trevor Williams, a 5.88 ERA, what are we doing at this point? Has not been a good performance for the veteran right-handed pitcher. A stock up for another young bullpen piece, shocker, Zach Brixey. One thing that I've noticed him lately, and again, it's only been a few appearances, but as we saw over the weekend, Zach Brixey has got a lot of talent for this Nationals team, and he has been rehabbing off and on this season. He's pitched in 3 different games so far, but one thing that I was really kind of intrigued by with Zach Brixey is that he has always been a heavy changeup guy. I believe he used it nearly 50% of his pitches just last year for the Nationals and even down in the minors. So far this season, it's been very fastball heavy, and he's been super effective with it so far. Zach Brixey on the year, again, in 3 appearances, 2 2/3 innings, he has looked good. He has finally proven that this guy that we have been seeing in the minors the last few years, you can now finally see as to why the Nationals think highly of him. And again, replacing him from Lucas Sims, the territory that we were in the last few weeks here, having Lucas Sims come in and walk the yard and having the Nationals just hit batters every other night. You finally don't get that with Zach Brixey. He has been good so far for the Nationals, so it's good to see that. But can the Nationals do it against the Atlanta Braves? The first series of the year against the Braves. Let's talk about it after we tell you about our friends over at Wonderful Pistachios. And of course, are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. And Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. I have long days, sometimes just sitting in front of a computer screen, whether it's right before I do a podcast, whether it's when I'm watching the Washington Nationals. I like to snack in. I love Wonderful Pistachios because I can get my no-shell variety where I can just reach my big old hand in that bag, grab that. It gives me good fiber, my good protein. It helped me reach my protein goals. And of course, the no-shells Wonderful Pistachios is that grab-and-go ease that you can even eat in the car, whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids. Wonderful Pistachios, the snack that works as hard as you do, giving you all the good, healthy points that you will need for your doctor to be just fine with how you are. So get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch, and visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Again, visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn about my favorite snack. Again, that is wonderfulpistachios.com. Thank you all for making Locked On Nets your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. In years past, when I'm like, oh my gosh, we are playing the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta, well, good for the Nationals. Last year, they actually dominated the Atlanta Braves, especially in Atlanta. So this is going to be an intriguing series as we face them for the first time this year. You have faced the New York Mets, you have faced the Phillies, and you have faced the Marlins. Now it's time for the Atlanta Braves. And in tonight's matchup, you have got a pretty decent rubber match with Grant Holmes and Jake Irvin. Grant Holmes on the year has not really faced many Nationals, Luis Garcia being one of them, Ahmed Rosario, Keibert Ruiz, and Jose Tena. We don't really have that many appearances against Grant Holmes overall because, again, last year made his debut with the Atlanta Braves. He was fine. He had like 7 starts, kind of like your Trevor Williams role there, where he is going to come in for a spot start. But even then, nothing all too special. But he has had a decent season overall. He does have a 4.58 ERA, but kind of with the injuries that this Braves team has had and the slow start that they have really had so far, this is going to be a big series for the Nationals. They're 19-21, and we are 17-24. They're third in the NL East. Right now, you sit at 2.5 games back from them, and you have a 4-game set. The Nationals have lost 5 straight games, and the Atlanta Braves, they have been streaking as of recent. They have been a really hot team, and this is going to be a big one for the Nationals. Again, we talked all about the first segment, about this Nationals offense and the struggles that we have had. You're going up against a team that still is deep with their pitching. They have a better bullpen than what we do. And again, you're going up against some pretty talented pitchers, which tonight, Grant Holmes is probably going to be the weaker of these next 3 because you have Spencer Schwellenbach, who in my opinion is one of the nastiest pitchers in all of baseball. He goes 6 pitches deep, and he uses all of them pretty frequently. Then on Wednesday, you go against Bryce Elder. And then on Thursday, you go against A.J. Smith-Shawver. Michael Soroka goes for the Nats tomorrow. Mitchell Parker on Wednesday, and then Trevor Williams on Thursday. This is the weaker half of the Nationals rotation. You're not getting Mackenzie Gore start, which is a big key here. So the Nationals are going to have to find their way to generate some offense. You're going to have Alex Cole in this lineup, and please have Josh Bell out of it. I hate to be that guy, but Josh Bell cannot be in this lineup right now against this Braves staff. He's probably going to be in it tonight, and he's probably going to be in this lineup the next few days against the Braves, but still, something has got to change, and someone has got to be held accountable. This is going to be a huge series because, again, the Nationals, you don't have that much to ride for at this point. You're on a 5-game losing skid. You just got buzzsawed by the St. Louis Cardinals, and now you face a pretty hot Atlanta Braves lineup, and it's not going to be easy. Things are going to have to change, and it's going to have to start tonight in Atlanta because if you lose 6 straight, a lot of momentum that you had at this time last week is out the window. And at this point, you're going to have to start talking about accountability and what's next for the Nationals. So thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Nats Braves tonight at 7:15. Enjoy it. I'll catch you on the flip side. Go Nats.